Welcome back to a new sound design or making sounds with the Model 15. On this one, we're gonna create 4 different patches, and the vibe is kind of a lo-fi, just chill type of vibe. That's the backing track, let's say. So we need to create a bass, we need to create an ARP, some brassy, also brass type of sound, and then a tiny little lead. Let's begin with the bass. Let me show you first the final result. Alright, so I'm gonna play the clip so we can just work. That's the bass with this synthesizer. There we go. So I'm gonna go all the way down on the noise. I'm gonna bring the number 2 and I'm gonna go down, a little bit down on the 1. Now, of course, we need to change this. This is way too high for bass. I'm gonna go to 16 and I'm gonna put this one on 32s. I'm gonna keep this right at the center. And I'm gonna use a triangle for the oscillator 1. And on this one, I'm gonna use the triangle, but we have the square of the sub. What else can we do? I'm gonna put the key tracking on off, and I'm gonna go down on the filter. Of course, it's gonna go really quiet. So I'm gonna go up on the envelope amount. And notice how much the sub it's doing for us. This is a pretty good synthesizer. If you want a bass type of synth with the classic waveforms, this one is cool. This one's cool. So I'm gonna go down on the attack, and I'm gonna go up a little bit of the decay, and down on the sustain, and a little bit of release. The envelope amount, it's kind of important. If I go down, it's just super quiet, but if I go up, you get a lot more bite, let's say. But I just don't want that much. I want something a little bit more subby. So I guess around where the plus is, right here, the icon, I guess it's fine. I'm gonna play it in context. And right now we have a little bit of glide. Forgot to mention this. I can go down in the glide, just can go down. And remember that right here, you can do whatever you want. Maybe we can do a little bit of resonance and more envelope amount. But you know, we lose a lot of the subs when we go up on the resonance. So for now, just gonna keep it down, and I want that more subby type of sound. Alright, so that's the patch. Okay, the next patch is going to be an ARP. Let me just play the track. That's the MIDI, of course. So now we need to do something. First, we're going to take care of the panel, and then we're going to do some patching. I'm going to do 4 on the oscillator 2, and I'm going to go up on the 2, and I'm going to go down on the 1. I'm just going to be using the 2. I'm going to take the square. If I play it, that's how it sounds. No noise, just the number 2. Now notice that if I go down on this one, it's just less crushed. If I go up, just crushing it a little bit more. And it's because when we go up on this one, it's just clipping the signal a little bit. So we get a little bit of distortion. Or just, yeah, distortion. Let's say distortion. So okay, so let's just take care of the filter. Let's just play it back. I'm gonna chop a little bit of the higher frequencies. I'm gonna put it around there. Key tracking, half. I'm gonna no resonance, and then I'm gonna go up on the envelope amount. Of course, now it's just doesn't sound like an ARP. Or it could, you know, but maybe this is just too long because the sustain is all the way up. I'm gonna go down, and I'm gonna go up on the decay until we feel this is fine. This sounds like a plucky type of ARP. I'm gonna add a little bit of release. If we add too much, just way too loose, but that's fine. I'm gonna keep it around there. And And that's it, you know, I think it sounds fine for an ARP. It sounds fine. Now, I want to do a little bit more. On a lot of synths, what you can do, you can use the noise to modulate the cutoff. On this one, you don't get it from the main panel. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the noise and I'm going to go to the actual envelope amount. So what we are doing is just modulating this, and it will give kind of a, you know, motion to this filter. The thing is that if I go directly here, it's just too aggressive. So I'm going to go to the pink noise in out. I'm going to go through the attenuator. And then from the attenuator, I'm going to go out to the actual envelope amount. There we go. Now, if I play it, notice that it has that dirt. If I put the attenuator on the 0%, we get less, of course. But as I go up, we get more. Now, this is way too much. I just want just a tiny little mud. All right, I guess that's fine. I'm gonna put it there. One more thing that we can do is use the pitch modulation. I'm gonna do maybe a lot, and maybe this on 50%, and now I'm gonna go up on the modulation. And this is not what we want, but maybe just a tiny little bit. The pitch mod, again, I'm gonna go down on the pitch mod. If I go up, too much. That's enough. Without effects, it sounds super raw. I'm gonna just play it. I'm gonna add a little bit of EQ so we can just get rid of the super lows. And this screams for a chorus. And of course, we need maybe a little bit of delay. We'll use the Valhalla, and I'm gonna go to 1.8 and do a little bit of separation. Let me just turn it on. It's off. And much nicer. Much, much nicer. Let's do reverb. Turn it on. And it's a pretty long type of verb, but you know, it's fine. And the next thing is going to be the sidechain. I'm going to bring the kick. So on the kick start, I'm listening on the sidechain for the kick. So every time that the kick hits, it's going to duck a little bit of the ARP. You can do this on any DAW. Sounds fine. If I go up on the ARP, I guess it's fine if we're not using any other sound. But on this occasion, since we need to add a brass and lead, I'm gonna go down, a little bit down on the ARP. And that's it. This is the final patch for the ARP. Okay, for the third patch, I want something low, like brass, low brass. We kind of don't need it on the track, but you know, I wanted to create a different patch. We already did basses, leads, and ARP, so you know, why not a brass? Just to take care of the basics, I'm gonna go down on the filter, the key tracking all the way to half, and the resonance a little bit up. Not too much because you will lose a lot of bass. I'm gonna keep it around there. And for now, the envelope amount, I'm gonna go almost to 75%. If I play it right now, it doesn't sound like brass. So I'm gonna maybe use the mixer. I'm gonna put it right here and gonna go up on the oscillator number 2. I'm going to put the 2 on the saw, so we have more frequencies now. And this one, it's going to be a square. The range on the 1 is going to be 16. Again, we want something low. And this one, I'm going to put it on 16 as well. Now if I play it, a little bit better. Why not doing a little bit of modulation? I'm going to go up on the modulation, and then I'm going to use the pitch mod. So if I really go up, it's just way too much, right? Just way too much. So I'm going to go down on this one, and I'm going to go down on this one. Cool. Now, another thing that we can do is maybe to offset the tuning of this one. So I'm going to go up. Now, we get an interval. Cool. Still, it doesn't sound like brass, so I'm going to take the attack, I'm going to make it slower, I'm going to take the decay, going to make it much slower, and then sustain a little bit less than the decay, and we need a little bit of release. And now if I play it, much better. Now, of course, to make it a little bit better, we need effects. Now, the attack, it's kind of slow, and this depends on your track. You need to fine-tune it along with your track. Now, this will sound really special with effects, but first, I want to do some patching. Now, what I want to do, I want to take the LFO and modulate the pulse that we have on the oscillator number 1 right here. Remember, we are using a pulse. I want to modulate the pulse. And I'm doing this just to show you the variation of a brass. This sounds pretty good for a brass. So I want to show you something else, something different so you can learn something on this one. I'm going to take the LFO and modulate the pulse width of the one. But if I do it directly, it's going to be really aggressive. So LFO, we're going to take the out of the LFO, and I'm going to take it to the attenuator. And then from the out of the attenuator, I'm going to take it here and go to the 1 pulse width modulation. Now, if I play it, there's a modulation. We can really hear, if I disconnect this, install a little bit more movement. Now, of course, if I go up on the attenuator, it will be a lot. I just want a tiny little bit. I guess that's fine. On 1. I'm going to keep it on 1. Now, the rate of the LFO will affect the sound. So make sure to fine-tune this control. And I'm going to use a sine wave. And it's almost 50%, a little bit more than 50. The thing is that when you do something like this and you use the low frequency oscillator, this one is stuck on this rate. So some nodes are going to sound cool, and some other nodes are not going to sound that cool. So what we can do is to take the note CV, this one, and this one will output a different voltage depending on the keys that we play. So what we can do, we can say, listen to the keys, and every time that you play a key, go to the LFO rate and change the rate. So now, when I just patch it in, if I play a higher key, it's going to go faster. But if I play a lower key, it's slower. So now the modulation kind of sings along the tune or the key or the note that we are playing. Now, without effects, it sounds super dull. And on this one, I'm going to use the shaper box just to process everything because, we can. I'm going to go first to A drive and add a little bit of saturation. Nothing super special. If I go all the way up on the mix, it's just, still nice, but maybe too much. Maybe around there and a little bit less. What else? We can do a little bit of panning. So if I play it on the track, is going to sound fine. Still, since this is a brass type of sound, I'm selecting the higher frequencies of the brass. I'm going to just mute that part. And what we are just modulating is the higher frequencies. Everything that's slow will not be moved from side to side. So I'm going to just select the higher ones. And if I unmute it, we have a little bit of movement, but we keep the lows low. And now the piece of resistance is the is the reverb. I'm gonna get that one. So it's a smooth haul, but you know, it's pretty long. If we want to manually kind of modulate something, it will sound cool. Let's go up in resonance and see what happens with this. It's a little bit too much. I'm gonna go down in resonance. So that's the brass. And then I'm gonna use a little bit of side chaining. So and I'm gonna make it a little bit darker. There we go. Let's play it in context, and this brass needs to sit at the back. If I go up in volume, it's just gonna be in your face, and this is not what we want. See? It's just, no. I'm gonna go down in volume and just put it in back. There we go. I'm not doing a little bit, I could do a little bit of EQ just to get it out of the bass a little bit more, but this is something that you need to do on your tracks. And okay, that's it, that's the patch. And okay, so we have the track, and this would sound fine. Maybe I could play a guitar at the top, just to do something, or maybe somebody singing, but we kind of need a lead to finish the whole thing. So I'm gonna do a tiny lead. The track is a G minor track. It goes from G minor to C. So we could easily, if you want to improvise over this, we can use a G minor pentatonic, or just G minor if you want to add more notes. Let's do it. I'm not gonna use the ins and the outs. I'm just gonna use the main panel. I'm gonna go to a triangle lead because I like triangle leads, and I guess this track, since it's a low energy, kind of a smooth vibe, we could use a triangle. I'm gonna go to the mixer, I'm gonna put it maybe there, and the second one, I'm gonna make it a little bit louder. And always with this synth, try to make sure that you are not out of tune. I'm gonna make it maybe 2, and I'm gonna make it 4. A little bit of pitch mod, maybe around 10%, and a little bit less than 50%. And of course we need modulation, so I'm gonna put it up. There we go. I guess it sounds fine. What else can we do? We can maybe go to the filter, go down maybe around 200, right there. And then maybe I'm gonna go up in resonance. I'm gonna take the glide a little bit up, and we need to open the envelope, if not the cutoff. Right, sounds cool. Maybe the decay over 50%, and then the sustain around there. Why not a little bit more release? If I play it, let me play the whole track. I'm a little bit far from the keyboard, so if I miss a key, I apologize. You know, it sounds cool. Of course, we need a little bit more of effects. Another thing that you can do, maybe add a little bit of attack. And you need to be subtle, because if not, it's gonna be super slow. So, and of course you need to do this with the track. If I do something like that, it's just maybe super slow. It's just way too much. So, So let's do effects. I'm gonna add a little bit of EQ just to cut the super lows. Let's add a chorus, why not? So we can make it wider. The mix is not all the way up. If not, it's gonna sound weird. So maybe a little bit less just to make it not super wide. Then I'm gonna bring a delay and I'm gonna use 1/8. And always the delay depends on what you want to do or what you're playing. Usually 1/8, 1/4, it's fine. The thing is that if you play super fast, well, 1/8 is just not for you, or you will need to go down on the mix so it's not in your face. You maybe can make it 16s and you will get a short type of repetition. Which is more like an echo. I'm gonna keep it on 8 because I'm not gonna play super fast. Let me just turn it on. Maybe 3 seconds is too much, but it sounds fine. Let me play it with the whole track. I'm improvising, of course. Sounds fine. Okay, so hopefully you liked all of this and you learned something new. Check the links at the description. You have the download link for the patch sheets that we created on this video. And of course, if you like this, please like and subscribe. This channel is supported by viewers only. If you want to buy me a coffee just to say thanks and help the channel keep going on, you can. You have links at the description for PayPal, YouTube Thanks, and Patreon.